This is why we watch the games all year long. Right now, it's happening. Also, the last day of the season where we'll have multiple games. It's Braun, it's Kratz, it's Pierzynski, Adam Jones joining the party today on FT Live. Jonesy, last week at one point, what's up? We talked about how, there weren't as many dramatic games as there had been in prior postseasons. And this was brought up by some writers. Most of us kind of agreed. And that all changed in the last few days. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think it was just one DS series that was really good, which was the Braves and Phillies. But these championship series have been amazing. I think when Philly went to Arizona, people were saying, well, I don't think they're going to get back to Philly. Well, here we are, Game 6. And nobody in the Texas series feels like I guess they want to win at home. So who do you go with tonight?
Well, very good question. You know what? Let's just charge the damn mound so we can spend as much time on this as possible for about 15 minutes before Ken Rosenthal joins us, who's covering the ALCS. Game 7, thanks to a Game 6 that was close for a while until Adolis Garcia made it not close. And, of course, you can mix in your thoughts on Bryan Abreu not being a part of this. That's probably the biggest news in all of this. No, Bryan Abreu is not going to be a part of Game 7. He's the best reliever for the Astros. And right now, in terms of high leverage, he's a top 5 reliever in baseball.
Well, he went 3 months without giving up a run.
That's good.
So the fact that he's not able to, I have so many problems with this that we don't even know where to start. That, listen, okay, if he did throw at him, everyone in the Astros, even Verlander, the guy who gave the home run, was like, I don't care. I didn't care about it. Whatever he did, So then for Abreu to throw, and one thing I did hear where he slide-stepped, he hadn't slide-stepped all year, ball got away from him, ran him up and in. Fine. I've seen the stat where he's only hit one guy all year. Fine. But come on. If you're Major League Baseball, you're looking for something I feel like that's not there. And then to suspend the guy for Game 7? Like Game 7. It's awful.
Well, he's having an appeal today.
Yeah, but the appeal already has to be done, they said.
And the appeal will give a result before the game starts.
Yeah.
And what are the chances? It's going to
They're not going to take it away.
They'll reduce it to 1?
Yes.
And
he's playing tonight.
He's playing tonight?
He's playing tonight.
For sure?
Is that your insider info?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, because if Major League Baseball suspends a guy for Game 7, major problem with that. Suspend him for next year. But you don't need to suspend guys in the postseason. I know that people are going to say, oh, that'll lead to more fights and more throwing at people. But no, I want better games. I want the best teams out there ready to go. And unless you can tell me that there have audio clip of Dusty Baker telling him or Martin Maldonado telling Bryan Abreu to throw at Adolis Garcia, then, dude, he didn't do that on purpose. That would be just dumb.
Adam, give us more context. How sure are you that he's playing tonight? Because there's many writers that are like, I think he's going to get suspended. I don't want to throw any specific people under the bus. I don't know if they're completely saying that, but I think there are many assumptions out there right now, just given how the arbitrators, right? We'll look at this.
Yeah.
And usually it's like when there's suspensions, they meet, then they reduce it. But you think that they'll just push it to next year?
Well, I can't give up my source, obviously, But
I don't want your source.
yeah,
just give me the info.
You do no, you want a source. No, but it's game 7. I just think that the powers that be understand the magnitude of it, and remember when NBA suspended Draymond Green for game 5, people are going to say that let LeBron James back into the finals, into that series. So I just think the powers that be understand the magnitude of it, and on the tail end, we'll get you after this. We'll get you later.
So no World Series.
Yeah,
either.
does that mean he's going to be suspended if they win?
I'm talking about later, like next year.
Next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because technically they can do that. What I didn't understand was why wasn't that the decision all along? In a situation like this, why isn't the plan immediately, all right, cool, he's suspended for a couple games, which is debatable for some, but we'll push it to next year and no one cares during the regular season. I
mean, people have served suspensions the following year for things. I just think, playoffs, man, it's a different animal. AJ, you've been at the top of it, won a World Series. It's a different animal, different emotion at this stage. And, how you gonna blame intent when you're riled up? You don't know intent when no one knows how to have been that riled up. So who can you ever say is real intent? You know what I mean?
Adam, you're gonna get a lot of pub for this. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be talked about. I mean, it's 1:00 out there. I don't know why the rosters aren't everything being talked about anyway.
Yeah. Also, Brian Abreu is a human being. It's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking to be going through a whole process like this when you're trying to focus on, some of the biggest games of your life. So feels like all of this could have just been pushed aside for a while. I get it. It can be case by case, right?
But see, all the Rangers people are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, it should be suspended. When we talk to Evan Grant, I'm going to ask him what he thinks. He's going to be like, oh, it should be suspended for life.
Well, my question is, Kratz, if Jose Leclerc, if the same thing happened and it was Jose Leclerc, what would Rangers fans want? If it was the same exact scenario where they're like, he doesn't hit dudes, but he also doesn't slide step. This is not like him. It could be circumstance. Wouldn't Rangers fans be like, screw this, just wait until next season? I feel like all fans can come together and say, let's have the best players playing in a game like this. Yeah, no one wants to get hit, but this was not like a blatant situation where you're like 8-2 ball game, 10-2 ball game, 8th inning, nothing matters kind of situation. Like, it hurt them to put a guy on.
Yeah, it totally hurt them. I mean, they obviously ended up coming back and winning the game, but there's no way you can sit there. You have to look at things arbitrarily. Yes, an arbitrator is looking at it, but you have to look at it arbitrarily. And the only side that I can't look at this whole situation arbitrarily is MLB. The umpires, okay, maybe they got this wrong in the moment, but they're the only ones that are actually out on the field feeling out this situation. But then MLB just doubles down and gives them a 2-game suspension. They knew, did they not have any foresight to see that, hey, this is the next step here is he would have to miss probably the last game of this series based on our new CBA. They had to have thought about that ahead of time. Neither team, to answer your question, neither team wants to lose somebody at this point in the year. But nobody wants to sit there and go, oh, well, our championship was tainted because we had, they had Abreu wasn't out. He's actually given up 2 runs. Maybe if I'm a Rangers fan, I want him in there. They've scored 2 runs off him. They haven't done that since May.
It's true. I agree.
They figured him out.
I mean, when he pitches every game,
he's tipping.
he pitches every damn game.
He's tipping, Jonesy.
At some point, he's got to be worn out, right? And the Rangers have seen him now. How many games?
Yep.
They played 6 games. He's pitching, 4 of them?
At least.
I mean, he's got to be getting a little tired. I don't know.
They played each other 12 times. They know each other.
They know him.
Yeah. The whole thing is crap for me.
Yeah.
It's Kratz?
It's Kratz.
It's Kratz. It's Kratz. Meanwhile, though, Kratz, Adolis Garcia looked like he was lost for a while. What was he, 0 for 4 with 4 Ks?
Until he wasn't.
And sure, they won the game anyway, and the Astros didn't score there, but, I mean, the breathing room was necessary, and for the Rangers to be thinking about Game 7 at that point.
I mean, you only had Spores throwing 16 pitches, Leclerc throwing 16 pitches. If they keep it close there, they got to bring Leclerc back out. Now, I was remembering when Aroldis Chapman got brought back out with a 5 or 6 run lead. Madden brought him back out in the 2016 World Series, Game 6. When they should have sat him down, he would have been more fresh for Game 7. Obviously, ends up giving up the home run to Rajai Davis, but I thought that's the situation that we were at right there, because if he comes back out, he's got to throw more pitches, and it's just another chance for him to get just a tick more tired to then maybe get to him in Game 7. But that grand slam, that was huge, because Adolis was not enjoying that day. He was striking out, and it was in the dirt, and he wasn't even going to first. He was the last time I saw that, I tweeted about it, was Manny Machado when he came back to, it was actually Game 6 when we went back to Milwaukee, and he got booed louder than I've ever heard anybody get booed. He finally bunted after like breaking his bat, striking out. He finally bunted 3-2 for his first time that he put a ball in play and then got on safely. I think it was a hit or maybe it was an error, but I forget. But a 3-2 bunt, they were so in his head because of what had happened the series 2 games before in LA.
Also, by the way, voice of reason, Aroldis Chapman said, quote, "Anybody who watched that game knows he hit him intentionally."
He would know.
Come on, Aroldis.
Yeah.
Hey. He's drilled a few people on purpose. McCutcheon.
He also doesn't know where the baseball's going half the time.
Yeah, he dotted McCutcheon up a few times, you know.
He knows.
There's the quote. Amazing. Hey, there's been history this year. That's what makes this rivalry great. We didn't really see much until that point, and then it all started to really boil. And
but
Maldonado is a big instigator too. I mean, he was the one during the regular season.
Adolis Garcia is the one that turned around and made a big deal out of it.
With Maldi.
With Maldonado. And listen, my other thing is, I always say this too. As someone that was thrown out a whole lot of times and had lots of options to go to the mound, but I never did. If you want to go get him. Don't wait till the umpire Marvin Hudson jumps in between you and like, oh no! Like Adolis Garcia's arms are like almost half the size of yours, Scott. So he could like,
I would say double.
Throw. He could just throw Marvin Hudson away and go to the mound. Like
if he throws Marvin Hudson away,
I'm saying
he's
like
get in trouble.
don't act like, again, Maldonado's right there. If you want to fight him, go ahead. Like don't go. It drives me crazy. Go to first or go get the pitcher. Like you don't need. It's just not a situation where you see it all the time. Jonesy, Kratz, you guys know everyone's like, oh, and they turn and they're like, someone get in front. Oh, they're all holding me back. Oh, fuck that. Go get them.
That's not how fights work nowadays, though.
But I'm saying that's how it should work.
Yeah, guys don't really want to fight anymore.
Go get them.
No,
they ain't got greenies. They ain't got greenies.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone's look, Scott's holding me back. Scott, hold me back. Look, they're holding me back. I can't get to him. Hey, he's really like.
That's how it works now.
I know.
It's like, you ever seen like 12, like those videos where it's like 12 like puppies just like playing with each other? It's like those are the fights where it's like, hey, just kind of like showing that we're there. It's not real. It's just tough guy stuff.
Agreed. Anybody that actually wants to charge the mound, as a catcher, the times that I've been in fights where they charge the mound, I got no shot at catching them. If the catcher gets his hands on you, you didn't really want to go anyway.
I've been in a few, and I always got them.
You caught him? Oh. I always caught him. I mean, one time I threw my mask, I threw my mitt, everything at him.
Throwing stuff instead of chasing them.
Well, I wasn't going to catch up to him.
Miguel Olivo, I think the only guy that ever charged him out, Miguel Olivo charged him out against DJ Carrasco. Bases loaded, he got hit and he charged him out.
That guy,
man,
he didn't make it. He didn't make it. He got to DJ and he went to punch and he had his arms like this and I freaking locked him up. I'll never forget. And DJ Carrasco, I swear to, he had his glove and he was this close. Here we need the 2-shot. Literally this close, like this. I had Miguel Olivo. I had him like this, where he wasn't going anywhere. DJ Carrasco's this close, and DJ Carrasco went with his glove and patted him on the head, and then everyone else came in. And I'm like, DJ, you realize that guy was going to kill you. Next time, hit him.
Eaten him.
Seriously, a manimal, as we used to call him. He literally would have killed him, and DJ pats him on the head. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I got it. He ain't going in. Like, I had him.
Good dog. Good dog.
So that's what it was like. He's like, good boy. Good boy. I'm like, what are we doing?
Good boy.
Did DJ Carrasco hate when you moved to corners? Because when I caught him, he said, sit right in the middle because there is somebody relaying a sign somewhere. Anyway, he was super, super paranoid about that.
Paranoia City.
Yeah, but no, he hit first pitch he threw it to Oliva up and in. He's going to hit him. He swung at it, full swing, fouled it off. Next pitch hits him, bases loaded, charges him out. Never seen it.
Well,
shit!
Nice and simple here for our poll question. Did Brian Abreu intentionally throw at Adolis Garcia? Yes, no, or who knows? WatchStadium.com/foul territory. Also, shout out to the catchers for the Rangers yesterday. Heim and Garver got it done. We'll talk to Ken Rosenthal, who's on the scene about what's going down there, and we'll get a little preview. There he is.
He's not on a bus.
What's your favorite stat from this postseason? Because you always have the greatest, like, one-line blips of stats. And so I'm putting you on the spot. What is your favorite from this postseason that kind of encapsulates what this postseason has been so far?
The Michael Carter catch. That was an incredible moment because when that one happened, I started huddling with my friends from Stats and saying, how are we going to demonstrate that no game has ever ended this way? And so we started going through every postseason game in history. And the fact that no outfielder had ever started a game-ending double play in the history of postseason baseball. And then that play happened. That still kind of gives me goosebumps, that play. And I wasn't actually there that night. I was watching in my house. I live in Philadelphia. My family's all Phillies fans. And they're all cursing and screaming. And I'm all saying, what a freaking play. It's like I got it. I got in trouble with my family just for appreciating that moment. But when something happens in one of these games that we've never seen before, right? That's what gets my heart thumping. And then there's that whole Austin Riley part of it too. Where did he come from? How did we ever have it? 8-5-3 double play. It's just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, 8-5-3 double plays don't happen all the time. And now back to foul territory.
FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal with us, covering the ALCS, having some fun. And let's get right to the news first, Ken. Adam says, done deal. Brian Abreu is going to pitch in this Game 7. Your thoughts and what have you observed and heard out there?
Well, that would be the correct decision, in my opinion. I have not confirmed that. Of course, Adam just reported it. And it seems to me that that is the logical course here. If you go back to the Jay Howell decision in 1988, Bart Giamatti, then the commissioner, the late Bart Giamatti, ruled that there would be a 3-game suspension. He had used pine tar, but he would be eligible for Game 7. He would not want, the commissioner back then, the championship series decided because a player had done something stupid and the rest of his team would suffer. In this case, I would argue that Brian Abreu didn't necessarily do anything at all stupid. I don't believe the pitch was intentional. So you can ask, why is he getting suspended in the first place? But we are at the point now where he is in appeal. So it would be logical, in my opinion, for this to carry over to next season rather than decide it tonight, potentially. And clearly, Dusty Baker last night was hedging his bets when he used Abreu for 1 inning instead of 2 because he wanted to preserve the possibility of Abreu pitching tonight.
Ken, in 2014, you said that the Braves-Twins was your favorite Game 7 ever. How does this one tonight gonna stack up? I mean,
well, that was 91, 1991. That was
Yeah.
Jack Morris and John Smoltz, and that was my favorite Game 7 ever. And the reason, Adam, is because of the pitching that night. Morris went 10, if you remember, 10 innings.
I was
And
6.
Smoltz was nearly as good. So that was just an all-time classic. Tonight, could it be that kind of game? Absolutely, it could be that kind of game. But we have to see how it plays out. That's the beauty of baseball. As you guys know, we don't know what's going to happen. And the big mystery with this game is Max Scherzer. Will he be sharper than he was in Game 3 when he threw hard and his stuff was good, but his command was off because, of course, he was pitching for the first time in 36 days. So that, to me, is one of the big things here. The other big thing, and the reason this could be a classic like 91 potentially, is Christian Javier, one of the great October pitchers of these times. He's done some amazing things. Ryan Presley told me this guy has the slowest heartbeat in the world. I don't expect him to falter one bit tonight. So if Scherzer is on his game and Javier is on his game, yes, it could be a classic.
Well, the difference is, though, they only go 5 innings. Ken?
That's correct.
It's not like Smoltz and Morris when they were going 9 and 10 innings. Tom Kelly went to take Jack Morris out, and he told him to fuck off. I'm pitching. I don't care what you say, TK. And Jack Morris, became a legend for that for numerous reasons. But, Javier is going to give him 6 at most. Scherzer, if he gets to the 5th, Bruce Bochy will be doing cartwheels. That's the difference in the game then when you covered Game 7s and now. So it's really a bullpen. It's not only the starters, but who's better bullpen. And right now, it's a toss-up between both these bullpens because they've been worked a lot in these 6 games.
AJ, I can't argue about the starters. That's obviously true. But the bullpen edge, I would say
if you say the Rangers, I was going to say, if you go to the Rangers, that'd be incredible because if you think about their bullpen, the whole year was awful. And now you're going to be like, it's better than the Astros?
AJ, I haven't said anything yet.
I know. I don't want to hear your answer, Ken. Nobody cares.
All right, so don't ask me. I would say the Astros definitely rate the edge if Abreu is available, right? If he's not available, it gets a little dicier. We saw Montero and Stanek kind of struggle last night. They still have a number of good relievers, those two included. But Abreu and Presley is what defines them in the late innings. Now, the Rangers, Leclerc, they got a break last night when they got the runs, and then they could not use him in the ninth. That was a good thing. How he will be, who knows? This will be 3rd time in 3 games. He had an off day in there. Chapman, they stayed away from last night. It was quite interesting. Josh Boris has been brilliant, but at some point you wonder if he's going to wear down a little bit. Outside of that, there's not a lot of trust from Bruce Bochy. So I'm not going to say, AJ, that the Rangers bullpen is better, okay?
That's AJ's. AJ's fine with that. He appreciates you saying with your chest. What? Take us into your life for this Game 7. I know you live in a world that the story's got to come out first. How many stories do you have going up until the 7th inning, and then where you're not writing the narrative, but you're telling different sides? Rangers win, Astros win. How many do you have going on your laptop at one time during the games?
Well, I'm working the television part of it during the game now. So I work for Fox during the game, and that's what I'm devoted to. Now I'm thinking about what I'm writing, yes, and talking with the athletics writers because we have multiple writers here, 3 here besides me. So that's 4 of us, and we have to divide the angles. And yes, we do debate that as the game goes on, but number 1 is television. I've got to do my job for Fox, do my reports, prepare for the post-game interviews, kind of stay on top of the game, all of that. So if I was writing the game live, Erik, this is really more to your question. If I'm on deadline and writing the game live, then you're going a million miles a minute and you're trying to put together multiple leads, first paragraphs and beginnings of stories. That's a really hard thing to do. I was never all that good at it. Didn't have to do it that much in my career, but that is an art, and some people who do that are really good at it. Andy McCullough of The Athletic might be the best of it right now.
Ken, I always ask who's your bow tie. I always give you some crap about it because I always appreciate the way you present yourself. Tonight, who are you representing?
AJ, you're going to have to give me a minute.
Hey, I didn't ask the question.
I know, Adam. I said, hold on, give me a minute. I got to check because I haven't even looked yet, guys. I'm going 1 minute at a time here.
Well, how do you decide? Is
Easter Seals?
He's got it scheduled,
right? No, they're all laid out. They're all
okay.
They're all laid out. We have a schedule, but I don't look until I have to get dressed. So it's Easter Seals tonight. And sorry, awesome. Adam, for calling you AJ. That is an insult, and I apologize.
It's not. I mean, my initials are the
Yes,
same.
I am
I mean-
insulted. I agree.
That's okay. Ryan Klesko called me AJ for an entire interview, so don't
Best
worry
moment
about
of
it.
Kratz's life.
True. That's
Best
true.
moment of Kratz's life.
Yep.
All right, Ken, back on track. Let's get to some news. Your thoughts and reactions to what's going on between division rivals / friends / I don't know, problem solvers for each other, San Diego and San Francisco, maybe taking Bob Melvin off of the Padres' hands, that perhaps, I don't know, he could beat them on San Francisco and create more storylines for us.
Problem solving is a good way to put it, Scott, because this would solve problems. Clearly, as we wrote at the end of the year, Dennis Lynn and I in The Athletic, the relationship between Bob Melvin, manager of the Padres, and A.J. Preller, the general manager of the Padres, is not good. One player told us it was unfixable. So then for the Padres to come out at the end of the season, for Preller to kind of portray this kumbaya situation was false. It was always going to be false. And the best way out of this relationship would be if Bob Melvin left. The Giants are looking for a manager. Farhan Zaidi knows Melvin from their time together in Oakland. Bob Melvin is from the Bay Area. He is an accomplished, established manager. I imagine he would be a popular choice in San Francisco. And for the Padres, this would enable Preller to hire yet another manager. I believe this would be number 6 since he's become GM. And someone who is more in line with his thinking, because it just wasn't working between him and Melvin. So this is an obvious way out. It is probably the right thing to do for all parties involved, and we'll see if it happens.
I mean, Ken, if only somebody was listening to the show one day when I said that this was going to happen, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy, but it's okay. I mean, Bob Melvin and Farhan, we said, had great relationship back to Oakland, and this seems like the perfect fit. Melvin wants out of San Diego.
I thought it was crazy.
You guys all thought I was crazy, and I was like,
No.
whoa, wait a minute, this is probably going to happen.
I'll add to this, Ken. I thought it was crazy that Bob Melvin was returning. I really did. I mean,
Right.
It's not.
That was
It's only because he's under contract. It was only but I also have heard that there's going to be compensation possibly, like when Lou Piniella went to the Devil Rays back in the day, and there was like Randy Wynn, I think, was traded for Lou Piniella at one point.
Bob Melvin was in a contract too, I believe, with Oakland. Wasn't he in a contract still with Oakland when he went to San Diego?
Yes, that's how he got to San Diego. They let him out. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I don't think that was compensation though.
I don't believe so. I think there was an agreement on all sides. No, there was no compensation. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was under contract. I'm not positive.
Okay. Yeah.
John Farrell? Didn't John Farrell get traded for Yan Gomes?
Yep. No, it wasn't Yan Gomes. I don't remember.
But
guys, I'd have to look this stuff
It was
up.
John Gomes. It was John Gomes.
No, I don't think it was John Gomes either.
But AJ basically just wanted to brag that he thought about this first. But I actually just wanted to add, I would have been surprised. Like,
no, you almost can't bring Melvin back after the year they had.
Well, okay, so let's say San Francisco kept Gabe Kapler and there wasn't an opening there, Ken. Like, were they really going to run this back again when you're hearing and reporting and people are seeing that those two don't get along? I mean, the manager-GM relationship has to be strong, especially nowadays when there's so much connectivity and really, obviously, front offices run the game.
Scott, I never bought that it was going to work out next year. I never bought that. Now, whether that meant him coming back and them just having this distant kind of relationship, okay, but I never bought this idea that everything was going to be okay in San Diego. And I guess in some ways, Preller had to say what he did. What is he going to say? This isn't working? I get it. At the same time, I thought his comments were a bit over the top about their relationship, how positive it was when the entire baseball industry knew that it wasn't. So you're right. It's fortunate, perhaps, for all parties involved that the Giants do have an opening and that this seemingly is on track to happening. But, yeah, it wouldn't have worked out, in my opinion, at all if Melvin had to stay. All the same problems that existed last year and that kind of erupted last year would have been problems this year.
So what happens in San Diego now? I mean, I've seen Ryan Flaherty, Schilt, who's obviously a veteran, well-respected. What happens in San Diego now?
I would expect, Adam, it's one of those two guys, perhaps Flaherty. And the problem with Flaherty is that he's a first-time manager. A first-time manager with a veteran club. Now, this can work, and it's worked with others in the game, and I've kind of come around to the idea that first-time managers aren't always a bad thing. I was kind of down on that idea originally because I thought a guy like Ryan Flaherty, and I don't want to pick on him because he's a really smart guy and a good guy, but I thought guys like that weren't coming up through the ranks and were just getting these jobs. I wrote it about Aaron Boone when he got the job. Hey, man, what are his qualifications? Yet Aaron Boone, Yankees fans can say what they want. He's been a successful manager for the Yankees. So in this particular case, when it seems clear to me that A.J. Preller wants someone he can certainly work with better than he did with Bob Melvin, you might even say control better than he did Bob Melvin, a first-time manager, it might make sense. However, with the Padres, Jace Tingler was a first-time manager. Andy Green was a first-time manager. Both of those guys got fired. It didn't work.
Well, Adam, why don't you tell us about Ryan Flaherty? I mean, tell Ken, too. You played with him, right? Is he ready to be a manager? Also, do you think that the Padres need to completely switch things up, or do you bring in a guy that's got familiarity there? And, of course, I'm assuming you can tell me, like, is he tight with Machado, I imagine?
Well, I'm not going to just sit here and just blow the guy unless he's hiring me. But but no,
you could just be his friend.
Are you trying to get hired?
I mean, geez.
No, I'm just saying, like he was groomed for this. He was groomed for managing. His dad is just, the man up in Maine. He's been seeing leadership his entire life, being a quarterback, being a point guard, playing baseball. I mean, he's just, as a player, he was just, you can just see the leadership qualities in him day in and day out. He got along with everybody. He took crap from everybody. He just was a guy. He was somebody you want on your team. He's a sports guy in any sports. Just a guy you want. And as a manager, again, that's the top job. But he's been in the thick of it the last couple of years, and especially being a utility player, he's seen from the managerial side moves that have to be made to get him involved in the game and for him to be ready. So he's seen it from both sides of the game, and I just think he's been prepared and groomed to be a manager from his childhood.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Ryan Flaherty is certainly a guy you can see and envision as a major league manager, and I've been around him quite a bit during his good years with the Orioles and even as a coach with the Padres. I have a lot of respect for Ryan. It's just a tough job coming in first time with a veteran club, and maybe he can succeed at it, maybe not, I don't know, but that's all I'm saying here. So then you would say to me, hey, well, what about Schilt? Is he the answer? Maybe he is the answer in some respects, but it ended badly for him in St. Louis with him fighting with the front office. So I don't know that that's the proper way to go. This is the situation they're in, though. And A.J. Preller has gotten manager after manager after manager, and he's yet to find the guy that he really is good with that can succeed with that franchise over a period of time.
Ken, I've already got breaking news. I'm going to tell this to you now between you and Adam Jones. Flaherty just called me. If he gets the job, he's not hiring Adam Jones, but he's definitely hiring Nick Markakis as one of his coaches, if not his bench coach, because he hates Adam. Exactly why he has to hire Nick, but he said, Adam, you're out. Nick, in. Thank you.
Adam doesn't want it. He's too expensive. Oh, Adam, you're muted. You're too expensive that I'll talk to you. You're too expensive and you don't want to play every day.
Nick will say 2 words to the hitters.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've been around Markakis, he'll say 2 words to the hitters, and it's hi, goodbye. Now,
go get him. Go get him 3 words, Adam.
I didn't say he was going to be the hitting coach. I said he's going to be the bench coach. That way he can just sit over there in the corner and be like, just write stuff down. He doesn't even have to talk. He can just write it down.
Doodle. That's what you're worried about this game.
Ken, all right, let's get back on a serious thing. What's your key for tonight for the Astros and or the Rangers? Who needs to step up? Who needs to be the star tonight for either team?
Well, Max for the Rangers would be the first choice, but I'll say Corey Seager. And Corey Seager has not had the best series. He had a great series against Baltimore, not so good in this series. Yet he can turn it on at any time, and he is a threat at any time. So I'll pick him for the Rangers' perspective. For the Astros, how about Kyle Tucker? he is really struggling. And he is one of the best players in the game, has been for a couple of years now. If he can somehow snap out of it, and I'm not sure he can, he is pretty deep in it right now, then that would be a key for them going forward here.
Has the home road thing just been exhausted to the utmost extreme in this series, or it's really real? Yeah, it is. But no one has explanations, right? And it's been going on for a month and change for this team. Some of these guys said like there were complaints from the hitters at some point about the batter's eye. Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, and that's a really interesting question. The batter's eye in Texas is significantly larger than the batter's eye in Houston. And in fact, they addressed the batter's eye in Houston about a month ago, made it a little bit bigger or wider. And the hitters here with the Astros think it's definitely a factor. Some of them do. Now, is that an excuse? No, because the other team scored 9 runs last night, right? Playing with the same batter's eye. But it's weird that it's a factor. It's inside their heads a bit. And it's certainly weird that this team, its OPS has gone down every season at home since 2019. The batter's eye was put in 2017. So you would think, well, by now they'd be used to it. But perhaps it is a factor. It doesn't ring true to me. Not when both teams are playing with it. Not when the Astros should be accustomed to it by now. But you guys know better than me, Adam, Erik, AJ, how much of a factor that can be.
Ken. Can you hear that? What? Man, it's gone down since they were banging on trash can.
No. AJ.
I know.
Since 2019.
I know. But here's my thing. Didn't they win a World Series there last year?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. I mean, I'm sorry. What do you mean?
Shut up. I don't
know. Astros, you won a World Series there. You've been one of the best. You've been one of the best home teams since Minute Maid opened. And then definitely in this run, their home record is crazy good. And then this year, all of a sudden it goes crap, and they're like, it's the batter's eye's fault. That's what it is. Because we showed it in the DS. They took the Budweiser. Budweiser's got to be pissed because they lost all this ad space, right? And they took it and we're going to make it
working.
But they say it's only against lefties. But they faced Evaldi last night.
Yeah,
he's right-handed.
2 runs.
That Evaldi's like 9-1 his last 10 postseason starts or something stupid. So.
Right, but you guys, Ken, these guys like to make the excuses for it. Oh, what's happening? Or, do you feel like it's that, or do you feel like people are just peppering them with questions?
These guys.
No, I don't think it's a situation where they're just getting peppered with questions. Actually, they haven't been asked about this all that much. Chandler Rome of our staff, the athletic staff, wrote about it a couple of months ago. And even then, it didn't cause that much of an uproar or anything like that. But it's been an issue. It's something that the players do talk about. And it's a weird thing because AJ's right. They won the World Series last year, and they did pretty well at home. It shouldn't be that big an issue. And it's the kind of thing, too, where it's always the same for both teams. So I can't really attribute it to anything. I can't attribute it to that. I can't attribute it to anything else. But we certainly can say they have not been a very good offensive team at home in this postseason.
What narrative are we supposed to follow here? Okay, like the Astros, the Astros think everybody counted them out, and they're still here at this spot. So it's like, why would you pick against the Astros? Bruce Bochy's been in elimination games. He's 5-0 in elimination games. Which is gonna break here? Which force is gonna hit up against each other and break tonight? Because I'm pretty sure they can't tie, as much as Manfred would love for this to be a tie and figure out a way for everybody to get a trophy. Somebody has to win.
Erik, I don't know. I don't often try to predict this sport. You guys know as well as anyone, better than anyone, how difficult it is to predict and how you really just never know on a given night what's going to happen. Bochy is great. Dusty Baker, since joining the Astros, has had an amazing record in the postseason. Those are two immovable forces, right? Max Scherzer, what will he be? Christian Javier, will he be as good as he was in Game 3? Will the Rangers make adjustments after seeing him in Game 3? There's just no way to know. There's just no way to know who will be the hero tonight, who might make a misplay that costs his team a game. The beauty of Game 7 is that it's all on the line. We don't know what's going to happen. And really everything that's come before doesn't necessarily matter. It's like the postseason encapsulated in that regard. I am interested to see Verlander, if he is available tonight, 2 days rest out of the bullpen, if they don't have Abreu. There are a lot of things in play here.
Have you heard anything? You hit on a little bit, like a cartwheels. AJ said do cartwheels if Scherzer gets to the 5th inning. Have they said, hey, we're looking at this? Or has Bochy said, hey, he's got the game. I'll let you know when it happens?
It's the latter, and they're not going to put any set limit on it. They don't have to, Erik, in terms of pitch count. It seems like he is ready to go. He threw, 73 the last game? I can't remember exactly. But he should be okay for 80, 90 tonight. It's really a question of how he's doing and watching the game and judging him that way, not by any set limit or pregame script. It's not going to be like that. It rarely is for Bochy, actually. He is someone who actually pays attention and makes his decisions accordingly. How about that?
What a concept.
Burn. What a new thing to try.
Yeah.
Burned by Ken.
Ken, I don't know if I'm sure you're aware of this, but do you know whose birthday it is today?
I'm not aware of it, AJ. Is it your birthday?
Really?
No, this one's
very my birthday.
Relevant.
If you wouldn't send me a present, I would be very disappointed in you. But it's your partner's birthday today, Mr. Verducci. So I'm expecting somewhere on the air tonight, you, Smoltz, Joe Davis, maybe you can get Pete Macheska, the producer, maybe you can get Gangle, the director. I don't know.
Dusty.
Get Dusty to do it
Dusty's
in between
next to him in
innings.
the dugout for the in-game.
I mean, maybe we can get a happy birthday on the air tonight.
AJ, it's Game 7. I don't think that Tom would want to be told happy birthday on the air. We're kind of locked in on the game.
Even pregame,
that's
though?
the way to go.
You know what you should do? You should do one of those in-game interviews in the dugout and have Joe Davis be like, we're throwing it down to Ken Rosenthal for a special guest on his birthday, and you could sing him happy birthday. That'd be perfect.
That is no chance.
AJ, I am sure the viewing audience would love every second of that.
Yeah,
Well, there'd be one person that would love it.
Text Poppy.
Put me down,
too.
too.
Game crew. You text.
I'll
him.
text
Poppy,
I'll
now,
text
Poppy's
where you
a
do
good
it.
candidate for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll text Barty and tell him to have him do it.
That's where you do it. Okay, let him focus on the game. All right, you're off the hot seat.
Ken's like, gosh, this was awful today.
We're excited though. You got the cast coming off a Monday hangover. Ken, thank you very much. Enjoy the game. We'll be watching.
Thanks, guys. AJ, have fun tonight.
Cheers. All right, and Fair Territory is out tomorrow, by the way. We'll be right back on the NLCS. I will also say, if Jose Abreu is doing damage like that, then everyone's in big trouble. And we gave a shout out to our boy. We gave a shout out to our boy on the postgame show last night. We said Podfather looked at the 2023 season and thought Jose Abreu is going to lead the world in home runs. We just missed the ... in the postseason.
He mumbled the postseason.
I said MVP,
part.
and I think I messed up.
No, you said
home run leader.
Home run and MVP.
And MVP? I don't know.
Just go with it.
You might
I
get
don't
it
know.
all for
Just
the
go with
playoffs.
it.
It's been
Just
sitting
go.
on my phone the whole
If
year.
they win the
Just
World
go with
Series,
it.
you might be right, though.
But
That's
these
my only point.
Not to
No.
bust in on Russ. It's because they're setting it up to get the guys around him out. He's hitting the ball to the moon. Stop. Put somebody in there. He can't hit a fastball above 95 miles an hour from the right side.
You got to throw it in, too. They're not getting it in.
Lefties. Sorry. Bradford, the rookie, is not coming in to get Jose Abreu out.
No.
Continue, Russ. You have a comment.
No, I was going to say, no. You're cooking. You're cooking with gas. I was going to say, to Todd's point about Jose Abreu, obviously I got to watch him here in Chicago for a long time. And you looked at a guy that going into the season, I was with him. I thought Jose Abreu was going to have a really big year. Playing down indoors where, in the months of April, Todd, it get cold here, man. Like, it don't really warm up until that first week of June. And so you see a guy in Jose Abreu who did not have the season that many of us expected to have. But right now, you're seeing the version of Jose Abreu that the Astros thought that they signed and thought that they would get. And it might be the reason they get back to the World Series. Something that I asked Dusty during the World Series last year after they won it all is, what did he feel in that moment with all of the games that he had managed before? And he said, for a long time, people liked telling me what I couldn't do. Oh, he can't manage bullpens. Oh, he doesn't have it in the big moments. Dusty makes the wrong decisions. But when you've seen that much baseball, I wouldn't expect that guy to get frazzled. when guys like Hank Aaron were your mentors. Like, we have as much history with Dusty Baker. Like, he linked so many different generations.
And now, back to foul territory.
All right, let's do our picks here, and then we'll dive deep into the NLCS. I mean, there might be some NLCS talk included here, depending on where you're going with your locks. So your BetMGM locks for Monday, first backtracking to Friday, and how we did. I took an L. I was trying to just keep it simple lately with money lines, but Craig Kimbrell had other thoughts. Todd Father pushed 9 runs exactly in that Houston-Texas game on Friday, and Kratzy didn't hit with those punch-outs. So if you faded us, you still would have pushed, though. If you SGP'd it, whatever. Money bags. Looks nice. AJ?
Looks nice.
AJ's picture looks nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, also true. I mean, sorry I didn't go back to my rookie year with when I had hair. Oh, wait, I do have hair. Never mind.
You do. Show of hands. Show of hands. Who has ALCS? Who has NLCS?
What do you mean?
I did ALCS.
I have NLCS.
You have NLCS? You go first.
All right, I got a crazy one. Same game parlay. I'm just looking for positive numbers here. So I got Nola 4 punchies, Merrill Kelly 4 punchies, Aaron Nola 3 hits, Merrill Kelly 3 hits, and Merrill Kelly 1 walk, plus 140.
Wow. Okay.
It's not a lot. It's just a lot of things, but not a lot of things.
The punch outs for Kelly.
Oh, he'll get 4. 3.
Okay.
4. He get 4. They're going to need him to go 6. He'll get 4.
Really?
He'll get Schwarber once. He'll get.
He doesn't have to go 6. He does. Why? Because they got another one tomorrow.
Yeah, if they want to win, yeah.
Adam, where are you going?
Oh, I'm going National League. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stay away from the National League. I don't want to give myself an ulcer. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna switch and go back to. I'll go to the American League, where I think Houston is gonna get it tonight, and I think that Dusty is gonna get back to the promised land and vie himself for another World Series. Going
Okay.
Astros. That's all. I'm just going money line. Simple. I don't like all that other stuff. It complicates the game.
Did you lock in 2 or just 1?
I did 2. I love Merrill Kelly, so it's like an emotional bet. You know what I mean? I need a big game out of him. Arizona needs a big game out of him.
You think the D-backs are going to win tonight?
Man, I want to see a game 7. I want to see another game tomorrow. As a baseball fan, I want to see another game tomorrow. So I'm taking the Diamondbacks.
Okay.
Just because I want to see another game tomorrow.
You're putting that together. You're parlaying that, John.
I ain't parlaying nothing.
You did not say that with your chest. I couldn't fade you more.
I could not be less confident in Jones's picks today.
As a baseball fan, I need game 7.
I'm going run line, Phillies run line. I think it was plus 110 when I got it, and now I think it's up to plus 115. So there's a little extra if you want to get it at a different price, but I got the Phillies going away here.
Okay.
They're going home or
no, like
running away.
No,
running away with it.
Yeah. Oh, they might be going away depending on who they're playing in the World Series. That's a big factor too. Is depending on who wins, Houston and Texas is factoring into who's got home field advantage for the World Series. I'll just stay on the simple side. I got Houston money line minus 125. I think there's just less risk involved with what Christian Javier will do tonight versus what Scherzer's got. For me, the slider was talked about a lot. I also felt like there were a lot of fastballs that were in the middle quadrant. So there's two things to accomplish.
We're going to dig into this here a little bit more, I think, when Evan Grant comes on.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of questions I have about Scherzer, Verlander, Kershaw, some of these guys that are veteran guys that we need to talk about their postseason performances about.
Yeah. So you like my pick, Houston?
I like your pick.
To finally break
finally
the
win at home.
Thing. Yeah.
Finally, they haven't won at home in forever.
Well, they'll fix the batting eye one more time.
They're gonna have it all.
So Bochy's gonna lose for the first time ever in an elimination game.
Yeah. I also looked.
Not ever.
Bochy's 2-0 in Game 7s. Dusty Baker's 0-2 in Game 7.
Yeah, but not ever.
None of that means anything to me.
Has Bochy's lost before?
It's about the players. I'm looking at the talent on the roster. I'm looking at the pitching matchup. I just think Houston's got it for one here. So, and if not, it's kind of an emo hedge because, to be real, I'm kind of sick like everyone else of seeing the Astros always in the World Series. I think for the game, it would be better if there's Rangers Phillies. I'm sorry. I would tell that to Astros fans. Like, I've been very proud of the work that they've done for a long time. They've been very good. Even after all the shit that went down, they've proven that they're just a very legit ball club, mini dynasty per se. But it'd be cool to see Texas get in there and get a little different matchup going on. So we'll see what happens.
Plus, it'd be better for me personally because I want to go to Philly for Game 3.
Right, and I'm just worried about AJ's travel schedule. FOUL is the code to use if you're new to the BetMGM Sportsbook app, or hit up BetMGM.com for your $1,500 first bet offer. You sign up and deposit at least $10 into your new account, place your first wager, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. If that happens, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll go over those poll results when we swing back, and we'll get really deep into the NLCS preview for tonight.
Is this Phillies factor of being at home like or the real deal? Because from watching on TV, it looks like it's absolute insanity.
It's insanity. It really is. I haven't lived in Philadelphia my whole life, but most of my life. And there's really never been anything quite like this where nobody ever sits down for 3 hours. My daughter was at the game the other night, and after the seventh inning stretch, she texted me and she said, "We got to change the name of this thing to the seventh inning rest." Because everybody stands for 3 hours. And, it's not just about the noise, Todd, because, when people say, "Oh, it's louder than it was when they won in 2008. Well, I forget to carry around my personal decibel meter. So I'm pretty sure it was loud then. But here is the difference. If you go back to 2008 and those years, everybody sitting in those seats was scarred by 50 years of losing, of all the times they almost won but didn't. And that generation no longer fills the seats. The people who sit there now or stand there now, they're people who've seen the Phillies win the World Series. They've seen the Eagles win the Super Bowl. They've seen both of them get to another World Series and a Super Bowl. Life is good now. They're not as scarred. And, the whole thing with Trey Turner, I think, was an example of how people are starting to understand you can use the passion that Philadelphia is always so famous for good. Okay, you don't have to necessarily use it to boo and to spew and to let people know how nervous you are about everything. And I think that's really what we are seeing.
Is the last thing that Bryce Harper needs on his legacy is the World Series, and is it a tainted legacy if he doesn't win a World Series championship?
Well, wouldn't you look at how he's done in October and said it wasn't exactly his fault?
And now, back to foul territory.
What's good? It's FT Live. Let's try and concentrate for a few minutes. We'll see. Braun, Kratz, Jones,
That's no fun.
Pierzynski, NLCS, what you've seen and what you expect going forward. I'll start here, not just for this series, because it could be done in one game, but even going forward. Philly expert Erik Kratz. What is Craig Kimbrel's role for the next week and a half for Philadelphia? Back-to-back games. A lot of it on him. No secret. Didn't have it. They have other high leverage guys. Are you waiting? Are you going to put him in a low leverage spot and then decide? Or is it just there's a week and a half left. He'll be a low leverage reliever for us. We've got too many other guys that we can rely on. I mean, didn't the Red Sox do that with Chris Sale? Didn't Chris Sale close out the Red Sox World Series victory several years ago when Kimbrel was there?
Yes.
90%.
Slider down
sure.
and into Machado. He went down on his knee. Yeah.
Boom. There you go. So, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, if it hadn't happened before where he kind of took a back seat with the closer role, I would be no chance. They're still going to him. I also think if the Phillies want to win the World Series, yes, the Phillies want to win tonight. I doubt you'll see Craig Kimbrel in anything more than a 4-run game tonight. But if the Phillies want to win a World Series, which is this is their entire plan, you're going to see Craig Kimbrell again. I think Topper's does a really good job of gauging where guys need to be in situations. And, it didn't work out for Kerkering and Kimbrell. I mean, credit to him for bringing them back out and instilling that trust in them, but it burned them. Now, if he brings them back out again, look, Kimbrell's going to go somewhere else next year, but it will taint Rob Thompson's legacy here in Philadelphia, which is growing to cult status right now.
Yeah, they love him. They do love him. Do they? But they don't. Nobody is more beloved. Well, I guess there's two. Bryce Harper and Zach Wheeler is pitching himself into one of the best, most clutch postseason pitchers in history, and especially in this modern era. Like right now, okay? Active pitchers right now. One game to save your life. Who's starting?
Nate Eovaldi.
Over Zach Wheeler?
Nate Eovaldi.
Wow, you guys all have different answers. Eovaldi, I'll go Wheeler. Kratz goes Cole. Adam?
Oof. That's a good question. I'm trying.
We ambushed you there.
Freddie Freeman. That's
Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman as a pitcher?
As a pitcher, but it's to save my life, man. That's a good one.
Did you see his playoffs this year? I don't know if you want to pick him.
Yeah, that's a playoffs. I never thought about a pitcher saving my life. I always thought about a hitter. I never thought about a pitcher. I carry Cole. I mean, if I had to think of one.
Yeah. Dude.
Dude, did you see Eovaldi last night?
Yeah, he was great.
Did you see his career record in the playoffs?
Do you see Wheeler's?
I'm just saying. I'll
take Wheeler.
Okay.
Right now. I'll take Wheeler.
That's fine.
Ranger Suarez?
Doesn't go deep enough.
Yeah. I mean, what Wheeler did the other night was awesome.
He does it with such stoicism. Besides the blemish of Alek Thomas, your boy Alek Thomas hitting a dinger off him, who's clearly the hottest hitter on the Diamondbacks lineup right now. Like, that was a dominant performance. Great defense by the Phillies, absolutely, but dominant performance to still get all those ground balls plus the eight Ks. You see like Javier going through the lineup, and it's a lot of like pop-ups, a lot of just misses. It just felt like Wheeler was in complete control of that game.
It felt like if he just did that over and over, if he had 10 consecutive starts against them, it would be the same result. Like most teams, especially a playoff team, can adjust and be like, all right, we're good. We'll figure this out. I don't really feel that way. And they were even talking after the game. I think it was Real Muto about how Wheeler's not like a huge game plan guy, right? Kratz, you know what I'm talking about? He's mostly just like, yeah, I'm going to pitch to my strengths. Go shove it, everyone. It worked.
And you wouldn't think he could do that, but he did it the whole game and just attacked.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully done. All right, we'll talk more about this series on the other side on FT's YouTube channel. See you there.
So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Back on FT Live, Braun, Pierzynski, Kratz, Jones, and more on the NLCS. First off, who was Bryce Harper staring at? Was that Kevin Durant and Booker that he was staring at, like for fun, or was he actually staring at the dugout?
Michael Phelps.
Phelps was there.
I mean,
right.
that's you got to
famous peeps.
That's you got to say what's up to him. What's happening? You see this?
But wasn't it a little bit of a mean mug, or was it more like, "Yo, I'm a gamer. Welcome to."
What was he gonna say? Hey, Mike, what's up, man? What's he gonna do? Like he's got that head down, a little stare. A stare. No, you can't do that. I mean, a book. What are you gonna do? To KD, what are you gonna do? You just give a little, the stare, lock eyes. That's all you need to do. That's a show of appreciation.
Okay, has there ever been? Think about we had Papelbon on the other day. When are we getting him back on for 3 hours again? Retreat
soon. He's fantastic. Jones, actually, Adam, you should join us for one of those.
Oh man.
You would really enjoy it. Papelbon went through like almost a full bottle of a 25-year Macallan. Watching a game with us, it was incredible.
Oh man!
But
do you know Papelbon, by the way? Have you come across him much? Okay.
No,
I think you would enjoy him. Fastball, yeah. I think you'd enjoy a few hours with him, probably a few minutes even. But
he's great.
Great.
Means well, kind of enough, but whatever. But anyway, so my point is Bryce Harper, when Papelbon, we talked to him about when he got into the thing with Bryce Harper in the dugout. And he said, this is kind of like big brother, little brother, right? Like I was kind of telling him, we don't play that here, bro. We just had a meeting about this and you're doing it. But has there ever been a guy that has turned their perception of them around the way Bryce Harper has done since he's gotten to Philadelphia? I mean,
there is one.
Who? Don't
We're
say
going to talk about it later.
No, that's false. That's false.
Alex Rodriguez.
That's false.
Okay.
But I'm saying while they're playing,
Yeah.
not after they date J-Lo and all the other bullshit. While they're playing,
yes.
Okay, has there ever been a guy that from the media, from players, from ex-players? Because listen, when he was in Washington, people were like, "This dude sucks. What's the deal with this guy? He's overhyped." Now you watch Bryce Harper, and you're like, "This guy's living up to it all." And when he went to Philly, there was still questions.
He was really good in DC.
He was
MVP.
Fine. He was really good, but people were like, what's his act? What's he doing? Now you go to Philly, you watch him, you're like, you can't take your eyes off this guy.
Okay, Kratz, because you're a Philly dude. I can also make the case that even now, compared to 5+ years ago, and a younger guy coming into the game, like I think that a lot of what he does now is pretty similar to what now maybe different in the clubhouse, but if he did the stare down,
he's different to the media though too.
Playoffs.
The media is treating him differently. Other players are treating him differently. There's a different.
Well, there's a respect level. For him.
But he's also grown up.
He gives good answers, but he's always given good answers.
But he's
question, bro.
Yeah,
that was funny.
But it wasn't funny though.
That was
for
funny.
The other people.
That was funny, dude.
Back me up. Tell this guy's dumb.
I think some of it is just. I don't think publicly he's changed that much, besides showing more appreciation and just love for the city that he's playing for, knowing that he's going to be there. My point is, Kratz, he's done two different very blatant stare downs in this postseason, both of which I have loved. If he did those with DC, they would have been like, what a punk. Look what he's doing. Just play the game.
You're proving my point.
I'm saying, but that's bullshit. It's the same thing that he's doing right now. Why can he do it now? Because he played longer?
I think he's one, he's played longer. Two, I think he has handled it differently. Think about how I would watch. I played in the same division when he first got called up. Everybody watched his career. There was kind of that roller coaster MVP kind of end year, and then there was never really back to MVP until he got to Philly. And even when he first got to Philly, it seemed like a lot of the things he would say were just regurgitating what other people said. It seems like now he's really he's embraced who he is. He's embraced it. You don't hear the same things that other people say. It just sounded like he was repeating a lot of the stuff. And leaving Washington, was there ever once where somebody with 6 years in the big leagues, like he had, said, yeah, you know what? That guy was the clubhouse leader. I don't think he was. And I don't necessarily think he is in Philly, the clubhouse leader. I think he's embraced the superstar role in this new city because now he has longevity. now he has this, he's built this, whether it's real or not, that's up to people to decide. I think it's real because he's the same guy day in and day out. And he's embraced that in this city.
I want to say that the most important thing I think that did you see this, is he has a true fan base. DC respect the attitudes. They're Orioles fans that don't make it up to Camden Yards anymore. Sorry. Braves fans that don't make it down there are moved up. That's just hard what they are. He has an actual fan base. So like I said, when he would slam his bat, and if he was with the Nationals and walked out to Angel Hernandez and did all that, everybody would say, exactly said, what a punk, what this. When he did that with Philly, he has Philly fans rooting that on. Like, they have such a backing of him that he finally has a back, like a backbone. Somebody is truly on his back, and he has a whole city that's a true fan base that, good, bad, or indifferent, they have his back, and he knows that now. Obviously, strip that, he's a fantastic player. He's clutch as all hell. Come back 5.5 months past the surgery, Superman. But he actually is playing for a city with a tremendous history. DC is, unfortunately, everybody that watched the Senators play probably passed on. It's reality.
It's been who? The Senators?
He has a franchise, dude. Like, he has a franchise. I got to Baltimore. I got to see that. Like, these dudes really care about. They hate this other team up there. The Nationals, they nice with everybody. Hey, man, well, welcome to our ballpark. It is. You like that? It's beautiful. Make sure you go check out this race going on out here. Like, you go to Philly, AJ, you know, Katsy, you know, it's
Philly's
choice
great.
words there. Philly's, I think it's fantastic.
That's a good point. Like, you can, even if you do something where some might think like it's a punk, like that actually kind of speaks to what Philly fans would back up. They'd be like,
even
cool,
better,
dude, hit that homer and stare their ass down. We're better than you. You know,
100%.
He fits.
Yeah,
he fits. But he also is more
Perfectly.
comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
And people, I'm telling you, people have changed their perception of this guy. And whether it's because he's more comfortable, whether he's matured, whatever it is, but you don't hear like, listen, I mean, Kratz and Jonesy will tell you, like, oh man, why is this guy getting so much hype? Oh, he won an MVP, we get it, but man, he's not really that good. Like, when you talk to players, now you talk to players who are like, damn, he's pretty good, man. Like, he's living up to it. He's winning MVPs, he's getting huge hits. When he talks, people listen now, where before it was like, he's just talking to hear himself talk. But good for Bryce Harper for what he's done and how he's changed the narrative.
He's committed too. When you're committed, you sign 13 years. There's a different level. Like, the fans like want to know you. The fans want to get to like be behind you. And that commitment, I think he's settled in this area. Trey even hit on it a little bit. Trey Turner hit on a little bit when he came on the show when we were at Citizens Bank. Like, he's like, we're here for a while. My son's going to be 10 years old by the time we are done this contract. By the time I'm done this contract, him and Bryce are here. So it's like what Adam said, like, the city's behind you, and the things he's saying gets that. And then I think the whole players are talking differently about him. What he's done in the postseason is ridiculous. He did it a little bit when they were playing the Giants. When the Nats first made the postseason, they're playing the Giants. He hit those homers off of Strickland. And then, it just kind of was the Nationals kind of meh. Now he's in a big market, and it's big. It's selling it.
And of course, the other dude who's on fire, like last series, it was Castellanos and Schwarber, but right now, Kyle Schwarber is so freaking hot at the top of the lineup. And fresh quotes from Torey Lobello leading up to this game. Jesse Rogers posting the quotes. Lobello on Schwarber, quote, "I don't know how to stop him. We just can't make mistakes. We know there's holes in there. Every hitter has a hole or two. We just can't get it to the right spot at the right time, but we're going to try like hell to do that." And he said, yeah, they asked about like him being technically a sub 200 hitter this year. He hit a $197. He said, "We've had a lot of conversation about that. He's not a 197 hitter. I know that. I don't know what happened to him this year. I only saw a handful of at-bats, and it is unbelievable that every mistake that we make, it's not a single or a rollover or weakly hit ball. It's going out of the ballpark. We just can't make mistakes to him right now." Do they have to circle two dudes in the lineup. You know how we talk about that, where it's like that one dude's not beating me. Are you doing that with Harper and Schwarber? Do you have to?
No, you can
decide on
I think
two?
Schwarber is more pitchable than Harper. Harper can hit a wider array of things.
Okay.
We saw it last night with 2 outs. They walked Yordan Alvarez
Finally.
with 2 outs.
Finally,
We had a runner on first.
Yes,
To get to Jose Abreu.
it was smart.
It was smart. It worked. But you can't have 2 of those guys in the lineup because especially so close to each other, it just turns it over too fast. I think Schwarber is more pitchable. There's definitely more holes than him with Harper. But when Schwarber gets hot, I mean, it's homers. That's why I said when he hit that homer in game 1, remember, it's going to be MVP. You guys all laughed at me. Gosh darn it.
That's not
No, you said MVP of the
That's not what
game.
you
Don't
said.
manipulate your
Yeah.
words.
I
And
was
honestly-
misquoted. I was misquoted, damn it.
It's
And
all on
honestly, I
YouTube.
really
You can't do that.
think the Diamondbacks aren't built for the matchup to get Schwarber out consistently. They have Mantiply. They have Ryan. Is Ryan Nelson the lefty or is Kyle Nelson the lefty?
I think it's Kyle.
Anyway, I think it's Ryan, but anyway, it could be Kyle. And then they have Saul Frank. Well, Saul Frank's
Kyle's
a
a
rookie.
lefty.
Kyle's a lefty. Thank you. Saul Frank's a lefty, and that's who they keep bringing in. But they know. Lovello said it earlier in the series. Like, he's a young guy. What that means is you look at his stats, he gets outs outside of the zone. Schwarber doesn't swing outside of the zone. So to me, this has to be a situation where you stack your pitching, not saying you're going around Schwarber, but you say, how do you get Trey Turner out? Who is going to get Trey Turner out and Harper out? Because Harper's kind of like Yordan. He's not, it's not like extreme splits left on left. So you have to figure out, because I don't think any of your lefties really stack up besides Mantiply, and you can only face Schwarber one time with Mantiply, and then you have to face, and then he has to face Trey. It's just, it's not a good matchup for the Diamondbacks. So to me, you can't let Schwarber hurt you, but you got to have a righty in there that can consistently control the outer half of the zone. And I don't know that they necessarily have that. I think Castro's done that in his career, but he hasn't recently.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts on this game, by the way? Does Arizona have a chance in this game?
I already gave you my
in
thoughts,
this
my
series?
lock.
I know you did. I didn't touch this game for my lock. I went ALCS.
I think Nola.
but-
I mean, the Phillies are going to win all of Wheeler and Nola starts, and that's how they're going to win the series. That was
Yeah.
their path from the get-go, right?
I got the Phillies.
They lost the other 2. They're at home. They've been really hard to beat at home. I think the Diamondbacks had a great year, an unbelievable playoff run. I didn't think they'd get back to Philly, but then I didn't count on Alek Thomas, my boy, going deep off Kimbrel. In a huge situation. They had 2 big late comebacks off Kimbrel. So, I mean, listen, Phillies, I don't think there's a lot of people that believe the Diamondbacks can win 2 games in Philadelphia, especially with Nola and Ranger Suarez lined up.
No.
Diamondbacks need to get back to their style of play and running. They haven't ran.
That's true.
I mean, again, we know JT is great. Wheeler, that combination right there is just suicidal. We get that, but you get on with Nola tonight. You got to be aggressive on his fastball. You have to run. That's the way the Diamondbacks are built. They have to put pressure on the bases, and you have to make Realmuto throw you out. He probably will, but you got to make him throw you out. And you see Carroll's got on and just has not ran, and that's the style of play that they play with. They move guys, and unfortunately they haven't been able to do that. Which when you lose a big part of your game and become one dimensional, it's harder to beat a team that is built for that kind of stuff. You ain't gonna outslug. You're not gonna outslug the Phillies. You gotta put people in motion.
Lordy Scurriel. Lordy Scurriel is the linchpin for this. He can hammer. He's struggled against Nola. If he can get some hits, I think that lengthens this lineup out and will get Nola out of the game. But I don't know that that's what the Diamondbacks want either, is to go to the high leverage Philly bullpen either.
Yeah, not easy.
Again, the Diamondbacks have to score first.
Mm-hmm.
They got to score first.
First inning, Carroll, get on.
But Carroll's been on base and he won't steal. It's like, what are they?
Because they keep sidestepping.
But Nola, you can steal off Nola. Yeah, but sometimes, you know what, Kratzy? I don't care if you got to take a chance every once in a while. That's your game. You got to take a shot.
Did it, right?
Yeah, but neither one of those teams are running at below like an 89% stolen base success rate. Like Dave McKay is incredible. That's why as soon as Gurriel got on and Kimbrel came set, as soon as he looked home, they go. Like they go when it is a guaranteed get. And they're waiting for Nola to do that like double leg flip and then go. And he slide stepped. Every time Carroll was on, slide step, slide step, slide step.
You got to take a chance.
Make pitches.
You got to take a chance.
Like a hit and run? Like to me, I'm surprised.
You just got to take a chance and hope for guess a curveball. Hopefully it's in the dirt and you get a good jump. I mean, that's it. You can't just because a guy is slide stepping. It's like if a guy hits a good slider, but you have a guy, a slider pitcher out there. You can't, well, I'm not going to throw a slider because the guy can hit a slider. Well, no. Corbin Carroll's game is stealing bases. You got to be able to steal bases. You got to be able to do what your game is. You can't let the other team dictate. And that's what Jonesy was saying. Like they've been kind of told what to do by the Phillies instead of playing their game, which is pressure. As they say, embrace the chaos. They got to make the game chaotic.
Yeah, I think the starting pitching has held that down galore for the Phillies, and it's been tough.
Phillies have a plan. It's working. All right, let's get to some news, and then we're going to go back to the ALCS with Evan Grant, who's a star covering the Texas Rangers for the Dallas Morning News. So this is fresh from Jeff Passan. Longtime big league catcher Stephen Vogt is emerging as a serious candidate for the Cleveland Guardians managerial job. Vogt, 38 years old, is a coach with Seattle and previously interviewed for San Francisco's job, where Bob Melvin is the leading candidate. Vogt retired, I believe, after the 2022 season. So who knows him best? Kratz?
I texted him with him this morning.
Okay, so what did he say? Did he get the job?
He didn't say he got the job yet, but he's really excited.
Okay,
so
he's going to get the job. He's going to get the job.
I don't see why he doesn't. The only reason I would say he wouldn't have is because they finally would hire Sandy. But I don't know at this point if Sandy wants to be – Sandy Alomar.
Yes.
Longtime first base coach with Cleveland. I don't know if he is in that running, but it sounds really, really good for old Voter.
I don't think Sandy wants it.
No.
I've talked to Sandy about it before. Like, why are you not a manager? And he's kind of like, I like what I'm doing.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of pressure that goes into being a manager. A lot of stuff that being the first base coach is kind of nice. You just stand over there and grab the guy's batting gloves, put them in your pocket, got a little stopwatch, got the little hard hat on, tell the guy, just one out.
Don't talk to the media 8 times a day.
Don't have to talk to the media.
Who's the White Sox first base coach? Because this sounds exactly what the White Sox first base coach does.
It was
Darryl Boston, but he gone. Who knows who it is now?
He was holding those batting gloves because you need teams that lose have a
guards.
bad first base coach. You need a first base coach like Dave McKay, Rusty Kuntz, Paco Figueroa. Let's see who else. Quentin Berry, like dudes they're in there like a pitching coach making a scouting report. They're in there getting all those tells. That's what you need. I mean,
we had Tim Raines. He didn't do shit. He's a great dude. Loved him, but he didn't do nothing.
Hey, true story. True story. Voter, when we were playing together, we talk about how, well, my career sucked. His career was awesome. But we were talking about it like coaching and everything. And he goes, hey, if I'm ever a first base coach, come out to first base as a fan, come out of the stands and slap me in the face. He goes, I want to be a manager or a bench coach. And that is it. So this is his role.
But here's the real question. Is Erik Kratz going to be on his staff?
No chance.
No.
Why not?
Because I'll slap Erik Kratz if he's not a manager or a general manager. Otherwise, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to work your way up. It's not like you just
You do have to work your way up. Yeah.
So
this isn't
a full year somewhere else?
Yeah.
For Voter or
yeah, but he goes to Cleveland. He's his bench coach or first base coach.
There's dudes that were just media guys, right? Like Alex and Boone, did either of them do any coaching?
No.
0? So they just did ESPN? So Kratz is talking real baseball every day. He's more qualified. Sorry about it.
I mean, that's look, like we're not millennials who are graduating from college and being like, I want a $150,000 managerial job. Like, you got to work your way up. And I've talked to people about coaching in the big leagues, and it's a process. And Voter, the process that he went through, this guy could have managed last year right out of the game. but he went to Seattle. He was close to home, and he was the bullpen coach out there. Loved it. He got to see so many different sides of how things go, how things are talked about, what coaches make decisions. And now he gets to go to Cleveland. He might be in Cleveland for
Ever.
20 years.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, the front office people there have been there for a while now, and they turn down gigs left and right. Antonetti and Chernoff, they're always in the mix. I think teams have stopped calling them now because I think they enjoy who they're working with. They enjoy the pay. Probably get a lot for your money out there. The job security is great, right? You're not expected to be studs every year. Sometimes Cleveland will put like a little money into it, and sometimes they'll be like, we're going to have the lowest payroll in the bigs.
Or sometimes in the middle, at the end of August, they're just going to pick up random guys to come in for no reason.
After selling, though, at the deadline. Right. But after selling at the deadline.
Yeah, that's not governance by them. Those guys, that whole organization, that's what Voter and I talked about this morning. That whole organization, they'll hire people. Cleveland will hire people just because they're good people, just because they are like aware and like they engage with the people that they're around. And Voter sits right on top of that. He is. I hope he gets that job. He's a dude.
All right, we'll see. Maybe by tomorrow we'll be congratulating him. He'll come on, right? When he gets the gig, once it gets figured out.
I told when he was doing the whole San Francisco thing, I was like, hey, you're doing all these interviews. I was like, come on, let's chat about it. He goes, okay, when all this settles down, we'll chat.
Yep, easy, done. That's usually how it works. You know, you're nervous. You want to just
no doubt
get the gig. And then once you sign the contract, you're like, let's go. So we'll see. All right, let's do a little that's what he said action. We actually have sound from this? Oh, wow. Okay. Alex Rodriguez, your thoughts on if the Yankees should retire your number?
Well, the Yankees have also done you dirty. They gave out 13 to Joey Gallo. Did that piss you off, honestly?
It did not make me happy.
So I ask you, have you ever had a conversation with the Yankees about where and how they feel about you and how they would honor you down the road? Is that something you've ever discussed with them?
No, and look, with my job on TV, and Siki, you know this,
Yeah.
I'm too critical to the Yankees, and that doesn't help my case. But I get paid to tell the truth, and if you guys ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you exactly as I see it, and not sugarcoat it because I want my number retired. If it's not retired, then so be it.
So does it bother you though that it's not retired?
Yeah, of course it bothers me.
Does that bother you more, or the Hall of Fame bother you?
I would say this: it's less about bother. But, of course, it would be nice to be recognized in, one of the coolest, places to be in Yankee history. But, that's not my decision.
Wow. First off, because we've had some fun back and forth with the radio station there in New York, that was actually great questioning. That was good back and forth to get him going on a topic where we're like, huh? Adam, why don't you start here? Do you think, number one, that Alex Rodriguez should have his number retired with the Yanks after steroid suspensions and suing everyone? And number two, this actually was the more surprising part to me. I'm sorry, is he critical in like this, super opinionated TV dude that's rubbing people the wrong way left and right? Because I don't think he said anything hard ever in the scripts that he reads.
I mean, about the numbers, of course, numbers-wise, he's one of the best players to ever do it. But the other things that you said, the steroid suspension, all the links to it, suing the league, I just don't think when it comes to business, they don't like that at the top level. So I just think by those, that's the reason why. And, unfortunately, it probably never happened. But we know how great he was. But yeah, I just if you just give him 13 away, and I don't think they really, respect him that much in that regards. Some just depends. Number 10 ain't been given away in Baltimore, so they show me a little bit of respect. So not yet. So one day, maybe one day somebody get it. But
wow,
dude, you deserve
it. It's not retired, but it hasn't been given away. So somebody with some big shoes to fill.
Ozzy hasn't 13 hasn't been given out in Chicago.
Really?
Yet.
So
I
10's on ice in Baltimore.
Yeah, I
Just in
think
case.
Gunnar Henderson, he wants to wear 10. I'm
He's
just
2.
saying.
He's going to make 2. He's going to keep 2 for a long time.
No, he was telling me the other day he wants 10. Will you let him have it, Jonesy?
If he buys me a new Raptor.
Boy, you crazy. Hey, there you
New
go.
Raptor.
I don't care.
Hey,
You'll get 10.
Somebody
can have it.
You'll get 10. You'll get 10 retired as long as you don't sue the team.
I'll try not to.
Like A-Rod sued the Yankees. And just like in that, and I have a hard time with this because yes, there's the whole cheating thing. If you make mistakes like that, you have to ask for forgiveness. You have to ask for forgiveness from whoever is asking for it. And it may take more than one time. I don't hear it. And so I have a predetermined idea about this guy based on stories I've heard, but also based on like just hearing what he says. Like just when he was talking there, he's like, does it bother you? That laugh, like it does. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but yeah, I want it. I do want this. It doesn't. No, it's fine. It's like something about just it bugs me, but it also like I haven't seen when this came out. I tried to look. I haven't seen or heard anything about him apologizing for how he conducted himself or like or what the decisions he made while he played. And to me, that kind of stuff would go a long way. It will go a long way for me. I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame, but the people that are, they need to see some kind of remorse and being real. And I don't see it. And so he fits to just continue to read the scripts that he's put out there. And no, he has never been critical. If he's critical of the Yankees, man, I got no shot of ever doing anything with the Yankees.
I honestly can't remember anything super controversial that he has said. And now he's everywhere. He's on all kinds of shows and media. I don't think he said anything controversial from his scripts. And
there's this. Like, if he was critical of the Yankees and he had like a point, I know for a fact that the Yankees would reach out to him and say, hey, we refute this. And they would discuss it because it's happened. And I have gotten some blowback from different things. Not blowback, but just conversations. Like, he's not worth the time. He's not worth the time. And I don't know of every single person that's in Monument Park there, numbers retired, but I don't see the controversy behind him that I do with him. Look, Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson was talking too much smack about what the Yankees were doing. He's now assistant advisor or whatever to the Astros. So he can go take all his Mr. October stories and tell the Astros about them.
He has been. That's why there have been 7 straight LCSs.
And I think he's much more beloved, though, than A-Rod by Yankee
He's been there for
fans.
a few years. No comment.
Teammate. That's my teammate.
No comment.
Cool.
I'll just say that, yeah.
Can I just ask you a question? It doesn't have to do with that.
Yeah.
So
maybe I'll answer, maybe I won't.
So you do stuff and appearances at the White Sox, whatever we talk about them. Do you feel like, just in general with your role, like you're on here, you're on Fox, you're on all these spots, like do you feel like you're held back from things?
No,
how you speak?
No, but I'm obviously been pretty critical of the White Sox and some of the things they've done.
Yeah, and that's your job.
But they've also, when there's a problem, I mean, they'll ask me about it and we'll have a conversation like Kratz said. I mean, maybe that's why my number's not retired in Chicago because they gave it away the spring training I left. But, yeah, I think, listen, being critical of a team or a organization that you work for or been a part of, listen, you're in the media now. We're in the media now. Like, you have to say the truth of what you believe. And whether it's right or wrong is your decision. But if there was a time when the White Sox came to me and said, hey, we don't want you to say this, then I would say, well, give me the reason why and let me formulate a new opinion. But just to come to somebody and say, we don't want you to say that because that's kind of not fair. I'm not a team. I mean, I'm an ambassador for the team, which means I get paid to come to the stadium, shake hands with the fans, do interviews for the team, talk to mostly talk to the fans. I have no involvement in the organization. I have no involvement with development. I have no involvement with the big league team other than going around saying hi to guys. And somebody wants to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. But it's not fair. It would be like basically like putting a gag order on you is not.
Yeah. And that's the same thing when you played. We've talked about this part of why we do this show. If you're a current player, like you're allowed to speak your mind. Obviously, they're going to be calculated to some extent depending on who the player is, right? They're not just going to destroy their whole
But I'm also
team.
not going to, I mean, I'm not going to get personal and bash dudes. But if there's a problem, you see, like they weren't very good this year. Everyone knows that. They lost 100 games this year.
Yeah, and no.
And they were supposed to be good. But no, but I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's a fine line you walk. But to say that this is why is an interesting way to say it, is all I'm going to say. It's interesting reasoning in people's heads of why this didn't happen.
I didn't expect that as the reason.
Can we go back to like when you were in high school and in Little League, or even when you're first drafted? How many coaches say it's less about the name on the back and more about the name on the front? If they put A-Rod into the Hall of Fame or whatever it is, the Monument Park, and retire his number, they're not just putting Alex Rodriguez in, they're putting the Yankees in with Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees are the like highest Q-rated business in America besides like the president and Disney or something like that. The most advertisable company in America right now. And you go and associate yourself with a guy that did incredible things, but as much as he did those awesome things, the things on the other side, they weigh out. And he's got to do more than just be like, hey, when am I getting my number retired? Whoa, Joey Gallo wore it. I heard guys when I was in the locker room talk about is 13 going to be worn? And it wasn't worn until Joey Gallo, and that was after I left.
Well,
the Yankees answered it for him.
Yeah, exactly. They sent the message.
And that's not just like whoops, we forgot. That's something that's really thought about. Mm-hmm. Like he's earned where he's at. He earned his numbers, but he's also earned not getting his number retired.
Including a ton of dough from the Yanks, and some of which, like that last year, didn't they just pay him off to leave?
Well, he didn't get paid the year he's suspended.
No, but after all that, I think the last year, I'm sure Derek
I don't
will
remember.
help us out with this in the next minute, but pretty sure at the end of the last year with the Yanks, I think they just like paid him $25 million to go away or whatever it was. So, all right. On the topic of talking, what was it? Say it again. Checking. On the topic of that, talking about your team, standing ovation time. But you can give them some love here. I mean, sure, they didn't go as far as people wanted them to go, but we haven't had Adam on since the Orioles were bounced by the Rangers, who could be in the World Series here coming up. Give me your full scale thoughts on Baltimore. Like, did you expect this? Like, how cool was it to see the team put this all together? How much did the fan base change? And then how much at the finish line were they disappointed and hoping to see, an even better ball club for next year?
Well, first off, I can start at the end. They weren't happy at the end. Obviously, it left a sour taste in their mouth, but it left a hunger that is going to lead into the offseason, I believe. But I think opening day till the last day of the season, I think it was a fantastic season for the Orioles. Everything they did it great. They played great defense. They pitched well. They hit well. They ran the bases well. They played great defense. They have 3 players in the finalists for Gold Glove. I believe that Brandon Hyde is the manager of the year, and I believe that Michael Elias is the executive of the year this year with the tremendous job they've done to just do this rebuild. And, they might have to make some moves. They might have to spend some money, but their future is bright. And I think that the fan base, while I was there, they understand that. They understand that they have a young team right now. And if they made it further, it would be great. But I think the fan base understands that they're coming. They will be around for the next few years. And hopefully they are able to get deeper into the playoffs next year and in the coming years. But the Orioles will be I believe, a formidable force in the East for the next couple of years.
Some follow-ups.
Well, no, wait. Are they going to spend? I mean, that's it. Are they going to spend
That's the
any
biggest
money?
thing. That's
I mean, are they going to? Because they got
the
a chance,
question.
but will they spend the money they
That
need
was one
to?
of my follow-ups.
Yeah.
He's still trying to get his number retired.
True. Oh, if they save the money, then they can retire his number.
Or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
They're got to do something. I mean, they did well financially this year, obviously, clearly, right? Like, attendance was up big. They had a good year. I think fans are expecting them most likely to pick up a starting pitcher, I would think, is probably the biggest need for them. No?
Their biggest thing is it's definitely starting pitcher, but I mean, maybe another veteran to go along with their offense. Maybe another another arm. Talking about because their closer's out all next year. There's a few holes that I think they have. They might do it internally as they've done a lot, but at the same time, I think that they got some prospects to spend, and I don't think they necessarily have to spend actual cash. They might have to earn, add payroll because of arbitration and because of trades. But they're going to have to add some payroll. I believe that's the consensus. But it's just where do they add the payroll? Who do they go get? Who can they lure to Baltimore? I think now that a lot of people would want to come play behind this young, exciting team rather than previous years. They say, well, I'd rather go to other cities because, it's a tough place to play.
So,
yeah, but people said that about like the Rangers, and they went out and spent all the money to get Seager and Semien.
And look where they are. Well,
what
they're
I'm
not
saying.
going to go to that extent. My idea has been, I've been on this because I think there will be one or two at least like high-end starting pitchers available for trade. Maybe Dylan Cease. I think almost definitely Corbin Burns. I think the Brewers are like that. They're going to churn out and make sure they get something back for a pitcher like that. Like Adam, to me, I think the Orioles should be throwing prospects Milwaukee's way. If they're not going to sign the $100+ million starter, which there's not even that many anyway, they're not signing Yamamoto. They're probably not signing Nola or Jordan Montgomery, some of those guys. Corbin Burns might be better than all those dudes, and you can get him via trade with the billions of freaking assets that they have in young players.
I think with Burns, it's you getting him for one more year. That's the tricky part. You're going to give up a lot for 1 year. If you're going for it all next year, okay. I think the name was thrown around with Cease because you have a couple more years. That was what I would if I was projecting and tried to do. But you have to go get somebody that is in those regards. Burns obviously is a great guy, especially disgruntled being there in Milwaukee. That was from the jump. So I don't know. Elias has done a great job with mixing and matching. Let's see who he can go get. I mean, again, if another native Valdi type pitcher was out there from the the $15 to $18 million range, not breaking the bank at 25 plus like Snell is going to command, then you might be out. Then I think the Orioles might be inclined to go get somebody like that.
Yeah, and there's dudes like that. There's the veterans. I mean, Eduardo Rodriguez might hit the market again. Kenta Maeda, Sonny Gray. I don't know what Stroman's doing if he's opting out, but yeah, and there's some names, Paxton. But yeah, I think they need an ace. I think they need a one. I mean, they have an ace. Bradish is pitching like an ace, but another guy to go with him. So we'll see. And also Jackson.
I
Holiday,
love that someone wrote Trevor Bauer and Julio Arias are free agents and might be cheap. I mean,
someone said that in what, the chat?
In our chat.
Good luck.
I'm not going to name their. We need to sign their young guys, Jonesy. Tell them next time you go in there.
Yeah. Adley, Gunner,
the young guys.
Cedric.
Who do you sign though? Who do you sign? How do you? That's like they don't have the Braves. They don't have the Braves money.
You start with Rutschman.
Okay.
Rutschman is your Posey. That's one.
And Gunner.
210 million.
Bradish.
I mean, how many guys do you sign? That's
all of them.
Not all of them. I mean,
you sign the one. You sign the main ones.
If they signed, I think if they signed one, the fan base would be pumped. Really, for most teams, with a team like that, like you're looking at least 2 or 3. Obviously, the Braves would lock up every freaking player that is on that team. But I think 1 to 3 guys this offseason you extend. Yeah, Adley, but Adley's already expensive now. I mean, he's at least 150. Okay,
Gunner's expensive too. I mean, but I think it. But I mean, it depends. I mean, Gunner's a Southern boy. You throw 100, 150 at him. I don't think money's the biggest thing. I think just being able to, play and be secure, but he's also a Boris guy, so that threw that right out the window.
I was going to say 100, 150. I think right now, based on his service time, he would do. I just don't know if they'll throw that at him based on
that's what I'm saying
on past precedent. So
like a Corbin Carroll, they threw 8 year 100 and at him last year. He said, "All right, I'm gonna take it."
Done. I think it was less than a hundo for Corbin Carroll. I think it was like 70.
No, he got 100 and something.
Yeah, that was like 102.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm right on that.
We got to bring in Evan Grant. He's waiting patiently.
Yeah, you're right.
He's going to be mad at me.
Right, let's do it. The main headline today, we have a Game 7. Evan Grant is on the scene for the Dallas Morning News. Evan, what's going on, dude? Wait, what's wrong with you two?
I don't know. Ask Evan.
What did you do that I'm pissed off
He's excited to talk to you.
Oh, he should be.
Yeah, and you saw the Astros leading up to this series, but Evan, in terms of what we've got tonight, what are your expectations? And also, of course, I think it all starts with what we think, A, Max Scherzer has in the tank in terms of how many pitches, but B, the effectiveness of those pitches. Slider did not have the same bite, which we've seen at times from him this year. And the fastball velocity was there, but it didn't seem like he was putting it where he wanted every time. So what do you think?
I think the big issue that he was not happy with was the slider, and I think that came into play in the 2-pitch sequence in I guess it was the 3rd inning of that start. The velocity was fine. It was the command of the slider, and it felt like he was overcompensating for feel one way or another. And he came away from that saying, okay, guy didn't want to say, look, this is the playoffs, I've got a baseline. But that's basically what they had to do after 37 days of not pitching. He does have a baseline. He is a guy who hopefully can adjust off of that and take it into today. Bruce Bochy's going to have a full bullpen behind him. He's not going to wait around long if Max doesn't have it and let this game get out of hand. But how often do you get an opportunity to start a guy who's got Game 7 experience? Not just Game 7 experience, but Game 7 experience in a win in this very park. So I think the Rangers are lined up about as good as they could possibly be lined up for this situation. And now it's just a question of whether or not Max can go out there and execute, and whether or not the Rangers can score a couple of runs early off Christian Javier and start to take the crowd out of it a little bit.
Evan, how just unbelievable has this series been? You got 2 old school managers and 2 veteran teams. You got obviously Boch and Dusty, and just 2 veteran teams, laid back, Scherzer, Verlanders, and obviously the superstars in between. Just how unbelievably just old school baseball. You have obviously the arguments, the fights that's going on out in the emotions. How awesome has this series just been?
Well, look, Adam, I want to say this, that when the Rangers went to Baltimore for the division series, that atmosphere there, that was playoff baseball in Baltimore. That crowd was into it. That's a baseball town. I think you come to Texas, and these 2 places are still a little bit, even though the Astros have had success lately, I think the idea that baseball is the be-all and end-all is kind of new to these fan bases. And so what I've seen take place over the course of this series is these 2 groups really, really get into it. Clearly, Houston's a little bit farther ahead when it comes to that, thanks to 2 World Series wins and 7 ALCS appearances in a row. But over the last 2 or 3 games, this has become not just an ALCS and not just a rivalry, but kind of a blood feud, for lack of a better term. It just got nuts in Game 5 in Arlington. The way the series turned on 1 3-run homer by Garcia, which looked like that was going to be the Rangers' Jose Bautista moment to take a page from their traumatic past, and then to have it turn around on Altuve, of all people, 2 innings later, when it looked like this team was about to go ahead 3-2. It just turned everything up another notch. And I think it's good that both the Cowboys and Texans were off this week so that baseball could really take center stage. And I do think regardless of what happens tonight, there's a new great rivalry in Major League Baseball, and it's going to be the Astros and Rangers for several years to come.
Evan, I've seen your tweets. I've seen all your stuff you've been putting out there. You really think Brian Abreu threw at Garcia on purpose? Now, no, don't take off your Texas Ranger colored glasses. Take off your big cowboy hat that's blue and red and deep in the heart of Texas, okay?
I'll go take my cowboy hat back from A-Rod that he got from Poppy on the show the other night.
No, he wore his. Remember, it was Jeter that was like, I don't ain't wearing this.
I give Jeter credit for that. Listen, here's what I think. I don't think that Martin Maldonado called for a pitch inside. I don't think Dusty had any intention for Abreu to throw at Adolis Garcia. But I do think, especially with the fact that MLB cited all 6 members of the umpiring crew, that perhaps Brian Abreu got caught up in the moment and said, you guys threw it at Alvarez. This guy hit a home run and pimped it. I'm going to show him. Stupid move? Yeah, stupid move. Did it end up potentially igniting the Astros a little bit more? Yeah, it did. But the only person who can answer that, AJ, is Brian Abreu. But I know that what you're saying, and I've talked to some other former players, and everybody says, look, your head tells you logically there is no way he is throwing at him, but your eyes tell you that the optics of that situation were really, really bad.
Yeah, it was bad optics. It looked bad. But speaking of looking bad, we just showed the replay. Adolis Garcia didn't get suspended. He got fined. He's the one that caused the problem. He turned to Martin Maldonado, put his finger in his face, walked away, and then charged back behind the pile to try to get some more. So how is it fair that Abreu possibly could be suspended, although we're hearing different things, and Garcia got what, $250? I mean, he's like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, fines are bigger than that now. I know it's been a while since you've been fined, but fines
I was never fined in my career.
Was it $250 when you were fined?
I got fined $250 for the Michael Barrett fight. Does that count?
That's it?
That's it. After appeal, I appealed it down.
Wow.
It's a donation.
It is a donation to bat.
Adam, what are fines? $2,000?
It depends. Yeah, it depends. I remember the biggest one I've seen was Jamie Walker got fined $5,000. Remember Jamie Walker?
Yeah,
crafty lefty.
Booked
He
him.
got. I mean, that wasn't that. Don't gloat on that one. He got fined $5,000 because he said something about the umpire betting on the game, and that was the same thing that same time around Donahue came out with all that kind of stuff. So he was like, "Hey, you call that close? Was he betting on the game or something?" And he's like, "Man, I got fined $5,000 for that." I'm a 22-year-old rookie over there, just like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I ain't gonna say that.
Look, quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised that anybody got suspended out of this. But I've talked to different people, and there are different people who say different things. That, if anybody got suspended, maybe it should have been Dusty for refusing to leave the bench. I've had people say, look, it looked like Adolis put his hands on the umpire, even though I think what he was trying to do was just free himself. But certainly there are people who say, he put his hands on the umpire there, and why is that not a suspendable offense? It's a tough position for Major League Baseball to be in. And I don't think there are any easy answers. And from my perspective, I would hate to see a series take place in which one of these teams was not at full strength based on the actions of discipline.
You feel like Abreu is going to be able to pitch tonight?
Great question, Eric. I have a feeling that this suspension will be, well, let's say it gets reduced. Even if it's reduced to one game, he's not going to be able to pitch tonight because he's got to serve it immediately. So I think that in all likelihood, yeah, he's not going to be eligible to play tonight.
So is that going to be the Astros' excuse for losing then? Or because there's got to be a key for each team. There's a key for each team. And what is it? Is it Abreu not being there? And the players would never say it, but our fans going to say, well, if Abreu hadn't gotten suspended.
Well, we know players and fans live in two different realities, right? And yeah, if it's the fans' perspective, it's going to be, Abreu wasn't eligible. If it's the players' perspective, I think the Astros are going to have to give some credit to the Rangers if the Rangers come down here and win four games in their building. On the other hand, I mean, if the Astros win, I think the Rangers have to look at it and say, that's what a championship team does. They execute in key situations, and there were a couple of situations in games 4 and 5 in which the Rangers simply didn't execute as well as they needed to, and that may be the difference in this series. It's been a really close series, and I think that all in all, when this is all said and done, you're going to have two teams who are going for a long time, continued for the Astros, to be at the top of the American League West and the American League power rankings.
Where are we on the bullpen for the Rangers? So you explained Max's situation. How do we feel about, first off, Chapman? Were you surprised that he wasn't used in the game?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest vote of no confidence that the Rangers got to. Now, he was warming up in the ninth. But, yeah, both my columnist and I, we looked at each other when in the eighth inning, and we were surprised that Bochy did not get Chapman up and did not have him warming up and did not bring him in to face any left-handers. So that was interesting. The good news on Chapman is, if he had pitched last night, he's been really, really ineffective on back-to-back days. And so I'd be even more leery about bringing him in tonight. He is fresh. Question is, how fresh would Leclerc be? Obviously, Leclerc would be used if necessary. I think the only guy probably who can't pitch is going to be Eovaldi. I just don't know how Nate comes back after 90 pitches and pitches in relief the next day. But I think this club has every arm available that it possibly can have. The hope would be that if you can get the Spores, Leclerc, and Chapman in some order. And if you need to, you may go to somebody like John Gray in the middle. If you need to get if you need a right-hander to get a couple of guys out, I think that he's got the best stuff out there right now, even though he hasn't been a reliever.
So Montgomery's on the board?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
No, I agree. So, Eovaldi pitched last night. He's not pitching today.
But that's how much of a dude Eovaldi is that we're even
Eovaldi, yeah. The fact that we're even mentioning that is.
Yeah.
Have you seen? We kind of got into this fight earlier a little bit, and I want to follow up after I ask you this question. But is Nate Eovaldi the best big game pitcher we got going right now?
Well, I'll tell you this. We went back and looked. He's the best postseason pitcher the Rangers have ever had, and they had some really good performances from both Cliff Lee and Colby Lewis in 2010 and 2011. You talk to anybody who played with him in 2018, and I know Brock's not on today, but Brock has mentioned that before. What Nate did in the postseason in 2018, particularly that 6-inning relief outing, he is a guy who lives for the moment, and that is the same thing that Rangers players echoed all night last night. This is a guy that they feel extreme confidence with in a big, big situation. I think he relishes it. I think he cherishes it. Chris Young's description last night was using the word winner as a noun, adjective, adverb, every possible way to describe Nate Eovaldi, who, ironically enough, was like this team's last of the big free agent signees over the winter. They really only got Eovaldi after they kind of lost out on Conforto, and they said, all right, Nate wants to pitch here. We've got the money left. Let's go get Nate Eovaldi. And he's given this pitching staff its identity.
Okay, so Scherzer's tonight. Eovaldi, we've just talked about it. Was he 9-1 his last 10 starts or whatever it is in postseason? He's been incredible, his team. Scherzer tonight. Verlander we can throw in there. Even Kershaw. These are probably the three biggest starting pitcher names of this generation. None of them have really had that moment in the postseason like Eovaldi's had, right? Like Wheeler's having in Philly, like certain guys have had. Is tonight Scherzer's chance? And why have they not been able to do Is tonight Scherzer's chance? And why have they not been able to do this after being so dominant in the regular season, the postseason? It's been a struggle for these guys.
I think, one thing you have to look at is how much deeper the playoffs go these years, now, the extra rounds, and how much that adds to pitchers' stress level. I do think if you look back at Scherzer's 2019, there are some pretty good numbers in there, and it was gutsy of him to come out, pitch Game 7 in the World Series here in Houston and get the 5 innings that they got out of him. But yes, there haven't been those moments for those guys where you say, this is Bob Gibson, this is Kurt Schilling, this is, a big game postseason pitcher. And the one that's always been a mystery is Kershaw. I don't know why he just hasn't had the success in postseason that he has during his regular season. But I think Max's numbers in postseason, save for that start he made for the Mets last year, have generally been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the game log. I mean, there's a lot of really good looking Max Scherzer.
Yeah, but there's not like that one like Jack Morris, John Smoltz.
Well, but nobody does that.
But
anymore.
I'm saying, but
Nobody.
Scherzer's the one. But these three
right?
are the
Who's
guys.
going to throw a complete game?
But
They're
these
not
three
even
are
allowed to go
but
that.
those three are the guys that could give you 8 with 2 hits and no runs. Like those are the guys you think of going into it. You don't think Nate Eovaldi's going to go out and shove, right? You don't think that. You think, okay, well, oh man, we got Scherzer going today. We're winning.
But still, sure, Evaldi's
I mean,
not
Strasburg
going
did
9
it.
innings.
Strasburg did it in 19. That was what got him $270 million for 30 innings.
Okay, can I give you Scherzer in 2019? I mean, he made 6 starts, 5 innings, 3 runs, 1 inning, I guess, a bullpen appearance, 3 strikeouts. So really 6 appearances. Then against the Dodgers, NLDS, 7 innings, 1 run. Against NLCS against St. Louis, 7 shutty, 11 Ks. And then in the World Series, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 2 runs.
Which is great, but what I'm saying is like
he's had some good times.
I understand. I'm not saying they've been horrible, but I'm saying they haven't had that moment where you're like, damn. Because when I think of Scherzer, Kershaw, Verlander, those are like the 3 dudes of the last 10 years that have been the best 3 pitchers. You can maybe throw in someone else, but those are the 3 guys I think of, okay?
Yeah.
Kershaw's obviously had his struggles. He got his World Series in 20. Verlander kind of had a moment last year when he won Game 6 for Houston, right? But, I mean, Scherzer, yes, he won the World Series in 19, but Strasburg was the MVP, okay? And I'm not saying he's pitched terrible, but I'm waiting for, and I know he's hurt this year, so it's not fair to put him on it this year, but like when he was healthy, you were thinking like, oh, shit, Scherzer, we're getting Scherzer. He's going to give us 8, 2 hits, no runs. Go right to the closer, series over, we win. It hasn't happened like
Nobody
that.
goes 8 anymore. I mean, dude, even 2013, I'm looking like 7 innings, 2 runs, 11 Ks. 7 innings, 1 run, 13 Ks. Like he had some, and there were a couple bad ones in there too.
Yeah, but there's that's fine. I'm just asking.
I understand.
It's just general.
I think Scherzer's different for me. I think he's had
Scherzer's great. I love Max, so I don't want anyone to think that.
No, I know.
And I think, guys, I think you guys can all speak to this, right? But managers it's just not the way the game is managed anymore. You know, you're going to go to your leverage guys in the 8th and 9th inning. If you get there, you're not going to let pitchers face batters a 4th time. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's the way the game has changed. And whether that's a good or a bad thing, that's a debate for another show. But it is the state of the game right now.
Mm-hmm. Fair. All right. Lastly, what else? Anything else you're looking for tonight? Who do you think's going to win? What else on the Rangers side has to happen? I mean, we talked about the pitching side of things. Like Ken mentioned, who did he mention? Seager, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was his kind of key since Corey's been okay, not great. Semien finally came around. I think he was on base more in Game 6 than he was on for all of the prior games. What are you seeing?
For me, it's Semien. If Marcus took 2 walks last night and he had 2 hits, he has struggled to adjust to the way the Astros have pitched him. They pitched him away, and it looks like he's tried to reach out and kind of pull balls that he can't pull, and that's led to the number of pop-ups he's had. I think last night he started to make that adjustment, and if he gets on and if he scores runs, that's the key to this offense. He makes this offense go, and he makes Seager that much more dangerous behind him, and it makes Adolis Garcia. How was a guy who hit a 3-run homer and a grand slam in his last 2 games get any more dangerous, but it makes Adolis that much more dangerous.
You think they win?
Who wins? What's the score?
Good Lord, AJ. What's the score?
Yeah, what's the score? Put your money where your mouth is.
Well, also, Evan, just keep in mind, I mean, media people do this all the time. If you're wrong, it just gets buried. If you're right, we show it forever.
Well, if I'm right, don't worry. I'll be citing this tomorrow. If I'm wrong, I will. This never existed. Let's go. Hey, I am not predicting. I predicted the Rangers before this series, to quote myself, in 7 for no reason other than this team has defied predictability all year. So I'll stick with the Rangers, and I say they're going to win it 6-4.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Okay, good. Say with your now. Before I let you go, I got to ask you this one question: why in the world, if you don't know who Jeff Fry is, we had Jeff Fry on the show.
Yeah.
And Derek Holland have been going at a Twitter war for like the last 4 days.
Over what?
Just over the home run from Garcia, and you just have, and then some reason, Evan, why the fuck did you jump in the middle of this? Like you could have just stayed out on the outskirts like me and text Derek Holland and be like, dude, he's blasting your ass, and then him get mad, but it's not on Twitter. Meanwhile, you just jumped right in the middle. Why would you do that?
Because A, I'm an idiot. B, I mean, here's one thing I would say to everybody, right? The game has changed, and it doesn't get played the way you guys played it necessarily, and it doesn't get played the way the generation before you played it. but the game is still enjoyable. And I just hate when former baseball players go out there and trash the game today. The game always changes. It may not be what you agree with. It may look different to you, but the game changes. And I just feel like Jeff has gotten to a point where he's kind of become that old man yelling at clouds about the game in my day, and it's not a good look.
There you go.
All right. I appreciate it. I just found it hilarious that you jumped in the middle of that.
There's never an argument I won't jump in the middle of. And I will tell you this, too. Robbie Grossman has far better restaurant recommendations than you've ever had, AJ.
Whoa. Now
You don't
that's
ever ask
fighting
me.
words.
Yeah, because you
Far
don't ever
better.
ask me. You don't ever ask me.
Pinkerton's Barbecue in Houston. Not that anybody's going to get here for the World Series if the Rangers win. And obviously the original Ninfa's, which I had just been to for the first time. But two great recommendations.
You ever been to Irma's?
Oh, I've been to Irma's a million times. I thought Ninfa's was better.
Really?
I'm going to take the under on a million times.
Erik, have you seen my body lately?
Might be a push.
Millionth customer.
Let's put it this way. I've eaten 1 million tortilla chips at Irma's. Let's go with
There
that.
you go.
Okay.
Irma's is tough to
Taking
beat,
the
brother.
over there. Evan, great to have you on. Enjoy in person. We're jealous that you're there. Have fun, and we'll talk to you tomorrow after you get your 6-4 prediction right.
Peace, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, Evan.
Evan Grant, Dallas Morning News, and we'll post his Twitter, obviously, as we do for most people that come on with some links so that you can follow him and see the back and forth that he likes to jump into between former players. Beautiful. Let's slap hands.
I like that pick. I like that pick by Evan Grant because that's pretty much what I was looking at. The over's gone over so much, and the over is at 9 tonight. So Evan Grant, he knows how many overs have hit in this series. But here's a little picture I wanted to show you guys because this is what I do. All I do is win, win, win. That's my trophy.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Look at you. They give you a trophy, huh?
They give you a trophy. Look at the name at the bottom, Bruce Banner.
That is incredible.
Why is it so small?
It's not small.
Oh.
It's freaking
I
heavy.
really like it.
That's what she said.
I really like that.
Wait, why?
That's awesome, Kratz. Congratulations. That is sick. BetMGM online poker champ, Erik Kratz. And actually,
It didn't even have his real name on it, though. That's the worst part.
That's better. That's better. That's his
That's
hotel
way
name,
better.
right?
That's way better.
Is that how you check into hotels so that nobody knows where you are?
Yep. I mean, that's what I did. I don't need to have aliases now.
When Jonesy travels the world, he stays under an alias.
I'm going to change my alias to AJ Pierzynski.
Ooh. You don't want that. You don't want that smoke.
I just want them to. I always loved it when they called up and they were like, Mr. Banner? Mr. Banner? So now if I check in as AJ Pierzynski, they'll be like, oh, Mr. Pierzynski, we see you have a large bill from the last time you were here that you didn't pay.
You think I am Dustin McGowan?
Sean Markham.
Oh, Sean Markham. Sorry.
Let's get thoughts on this. Okay, I have a couple things. One, Dusty Baker has a plant and he took it outside, which I think is awesome, just given the context of the series. And he's just like, yo, my plant's not looking too good. You guys cool if I just bring this out and put it on the bench for a little bit? And then everyone was talking about how it's like a lily, something like that. And Peaceful Lily, it's called.
Wait, how can we never take your plant out? Can we get a shot of Scott's plant?
Hold on.
That's
Stay
not
on
his plant. That was
It's
a
right
plant.
there. You can see it right there.
Yeah, that's his plant, but there's no way that was Dusty's plant.
Look at Scott's plant.
Dusty, he was on the road. That plant was just in.
No, that was in
just
Houston.
in the clubhouse.
Same, Dusty. Same. Okay? Same.
Twinsies.
Mine needs sunlight. I'm going to take it outside right after this because this actually goes into the next thing I wanted to announce. I'm here all day. We are going to do not one, but 2 post-game shows. We will do post-game shows for every single remaining 2023 postseason game. So that means Game 6 and Game 7 today. If there's a Game 7 on Tuesday, we're on it. And then every World Series game, we'll have an FT post-game live post-game show. And that will be posted afterwards in case you miss it. We've had a lot of views and support on that. So check it out. It'll be me, It'll be Plant, it'll be Kratz, and it'll be a cast of other characters that will join us.
What about me?
For those post-game shows. Are you confirmed? Are you doing all the shows?
I thought I was.
Okay. There you go. Pierzynski's going to be on. Adam's going to be at some ballpark somewhere or some country in Europe that we're jealous about. What do you got?
Coming back to America.
All right.
Nice. You and Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. I got a second lock.
Wesley Snipes.
But the game's already started.
Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall isn't coming to America. But since the game already started, I have a second lock today. It's Tottenham is playing Fulham. It's Tottenham Hotspur's going to win, and Richarlison's going to score a goal, and that gets me to plus 170. Oh, and he almost just scored a goal, like on live TV. But damn it! But
incredible.
That's the lock.
We're losing. Wait, we lost all our viewers.
Oh well, too bad.
All of our live viewers.
Come on, you Spurs! Let's go. Me and Dave Portnoy
just left. Who? Wembyana on the Spurs.
Me and Dave Portnoy.
Okay. Lastly, there was an article out this morning on awfulannouncing.com, which if you don't follow them, they're great, but it's not just about awful announcing. It's about good media coverage too.
I'm just trying to figure out, one, they couldn't use my Fox headshot. And two, Scott, you didn't even make it.
I don't want to make it. I'm cool. I'm cool being behind the scenes. MLB coverage is nearly extinct in mainstream media. Is foul territory its future? That is a great title. That is strong. Move the plant. Okay.
Adam looks happy. Ken looks happy. I look happy. Scott's not happy.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not on there.
Exactly. That's
I don't
why you're not happy.
On there. I don't want to be on there.
But
if you
Kratz
weren't on there,
still...
you'd be like, where am I?
No,
I'm
I would
not.
not.
On there.
I couldn't care less. Kratz is still molesting his trophy.
Stop it. Stop it. Besides the last 5 minutes, we do actually cover baseball every single day.
I know, but you get so mad if we talk about any other sport.
No, I don't.
Oh, he's so mad.
I don't get mad. Okay, everyone in the comments now, do you want to hear AJ Pierzynski talking about what league is this?
Premier League?
Premier League.
I don't know, the greatest league in the world.
Do you want to hear AJ talking about
I didn't talk about it. I just gave a bonus bet.
Actually, you know what we can do?
Is it FT Heater bet?
We're going to give you your own YouTube channel where you talk about Tottenham. It might actually grow. It might be very successful. We can see how that does compared to foul territory. Anyway,
do I get the same manpower behind it? Get the ability to get the same guests?
You can do whatever you want with that. Yeah.
Mark, you're available. Claudia, you guys are available.
Weekly Tottenham show with AJ Pierzynski. And there's the music playing us off. Enjoy the game.
Especially when they win their first trophy in like 100 years this year. The show's going through the roof. Come on, you Spurs.
Just like the Cubs from years back. Anyway, Kratz hat's on their way out. What do you got?
Phillies. Come on, it's a Phillies hat.
It's not. Charleston Alley Cats. Charleston, West Virginia. It's not a Phillies cap. It's a minor league symbol. Grinders unite. They had a hill in right field and train tracks.
Shots fired. He's saying you're a homer. Anyway, check out that article. I think AJ tweeted about it, so if you want to see his Twitter
and Insta did.
Check out the article.
Storied it.
And you storied it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you tag me? Probably not.
You already tagged it.
Of course you didn't.
I don't know how to do
Post-game
this
show. We will see you after each game, the rest of the playoffs on FT's YouTube channel. Good one today. We were very well behaved. Bye.
Boys!